fight our way through. Struggle. Claw our way up. Scratch for every inch of the way.
Peace and praise.
Stroll to the music.
Bless ones. Happy birthday, Kimah Love. She was, if y'all remember on episode 9 and episode 30, that was like in my earlier stages of the podcast when I was still in the Blair podcast and Bland the podcast. So happy birthday to her. We're gonna listen to some Kimah Love today. But first, I do want to have a moment of silence for a gentleman who I'm not really too familiar with. Like, I know his videos. I've seen some of his clips, but I want to say his name was Charlie Kirk. But I want to have a moment of silence for him. All right. Now, again, it was just because, you know, again, I don't really know the details on his death. Apparently, you know, this man was murdered. And, you know, of course, social media, of course, had to, you know, there's outrage about it. One thing I'm going to say, I don't like bullies. I don't like hatred. So, for me, it's like one of those things where it's like, if you hate me, hey, I just get out of the way. I'm not going to fight fire with fire or anything like that. I see a lot of people, they're celebrating. We're not even really celebrating, but it's like a war on social media as far as like, oh, well, you know, he's dead and, you know, he deserves, like, look, nobody deserves to be dead. I'm not one of those people, like, I'm not doing that. I'm, again, you know, people can say, you know, sometimes Christians, they have this false reality of empathy and compassion and forgiveness and all that stuff, but like for me, it's like I'm living my truth. So rest in peace to him. Like, so I'm not gonna get into full detail, but all I'm gonna say is like you can easily tell between people who care versus people who don't, because it's just like anything else. Like if there's somebody that dislikes you, or if there's somebody who disagrees with you, that's all it has to be. If there's people who are that loves this person, because again, this man was a father or a husband, so I didn't realize how young he was. But like I said, I'm not too familiar with, you know, who he was. Like I seen clips on social media, but I don't know. So like I said, rest in peace to him. Like condolences to his family and friends and people who did know him and love him. Like people talk about, you know, him being a Trump supporter, him being a racist, all that stuff. It's like, all right, fine, that's cool. You know, it's the same thing like with Hulk Hogan. But I always say, like, just imagine growing up with somebody who didn't want you. You know, imagine having to be in the room with people who abused you. And then when you get older, you have to figure it out on your own. You have to, like, remove yourself. My thing is, when you depend on yourself, you're going to depend on yourself. Like, your opinions are your own. Your thoughts are your own. Your mistakes are your own. Like, you don't have to take no accountability. Well, you take accountability for, you know, yourself. But that's when you depend on yourself. So if you wanna be an individual and have your own thoughts, have your own perspective, have your own mind, you can do that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Like I'm an advocate for accountability. I'm an advocate for individualism. It's just like I said all the time. Sometimes with social media, there's always this groupthink. There's always, justification. One thing about me is like when I wake up in the morning, my conscience is clear. I'm aware. I'm alert. I'm not upset. I'm not sad or nothing. It's a tragic. Regardless of whether you feel, however you feel about somebody, it's a tragedy. And whether you like somebody or disagree with somebody, whether you respect them or not, do not take action and do harm to someone. Like I said, only time that I will condone violence, and I don't even consider this as violence, as if it's self-defense. But that's just me. I'm a Christian. I'm not a Bible thumper. I can't give you every scripture and quote every scripture. Like I'm not, like I've been a Christian my whole life. I've been in church my whole life, and like I said, that doesn't always mean anything. But it's just like I have my own problems. I have my own things going on. But where is the compassion at? Because it's like, okay, if this person don't care for you, okay, fine. You don't gotta acknowledge it. But there's people online who doesn't care or is like good riddance, but they're doing all these think pieces. It's just like when people try to convince you that Jesus is a white man religion or God isn't real and all that stuff. It's like, if you don't believe it, then why are you spending so much time in the day to try to be woke and be like, you're believing in this false prophecy, false God and everything. Why do people do that? Like, if you really don't care about something, you won't give it a time of day. Sometimes people can say, well, you're just trying to educate somebody, make people aware of stuff. And it's like, people know. Like, we have to start giving people a little bit more credit. I understand that there are people who are oblivious. There are people who are ignorant. And then there's just people who just don't care. Like, I tell my son all the time, hey, read the scripture. So the thing is, like, when we tell people something, they receive it. It might go in one ear and out the other ear, but they receive it. But it goes back again to like what I was saying on previous podcasts before. Noah and the ark. You are just to tell them, not convince them. One and done. But moving forward, like I said, happy birthday, Kimah Love. Happy birthday to her. Just real quick, this isn't a dedication episode, but I remember when Kimah Love was Butterfly. The crazy thing about that is, and I talked about this on the I want to say maybe both episodes that she was on with me. She was rapping. I think at this time she was in Portsmouth. I actually met her once. But I don't even think I knew her. I didn't know her as a rapper at the time. Like I said, we from the same area in a sense. I think this is when she was working at Subway, at Walmart, And I was like, yeah, you look familiar, whatever. And she's like, yeah, probably from Boston. I was like, no, I never went to Boston, but I think, yeah, it was like MySpace. And I know she was going at it with these two girls. I think it was, I know one of them was Cash Ashley. I forgot what the other girl name was. And I'll be honest, like, they had some joints. She had some joints and everything. And then, but like I said, we ended up connecting, you know, on social media and, you know, years and just supporting her like throughout the years. And then like, even like in 2020, she got on episode 9, and then I want to say maybe a year after that, on my year anniversary celebration, she got on another episode because, like I said, even for me, like I wasn't podcasting as consistent. Like I was podcasting as consistently as in the beginning when I first started podcasting, like years, like before podcasting was podcasting. But I had a podcast before Blend the Podcast. I actually had 2 podcasts before Blend the Podcast. 2 episode podcasts, what was hyphenated taped, and then there was 2 items for a title. You know, that's all on streaming platforms as well. But you know, I remember, you know, it's been a journey, yo. Because I remember, like I said, she was Butterfly, then she changed her name to Kima Sutra. And then she changed her name to Kima Love. But, you know, one thing that I will say about Kima Love is that even when she was doing different type of music, it was consistent. But you know, one thing I would say about her is like she's gonna be consistent. You know, like I was telling her, like I don't I mean, we ain't gotta agree all the time, but it's always gonna be love because it goes back again. Being a believer of Christ, being a believer of God, is like it's certain things that you just connect with people. And then even with certain stuff like going into the actual episode is like, I'm not going to play with people about God. You know, I'm not somebody who's going to, you know, argue with anyone. Like, if I don't believe you, I don't believe you. If I believe you, I believe. But it's like there's certain things that we just shouldn't be arguing about. You know, we shouldn't be sitting here arguing with people about whether or not the 12 disciples was kids, or whether or not, you know, Jesus was married to, you know, Mary Magdalene or whatever. Like, it's in the word. Just read it for yourself. Like I can tell you something and then you can decide to believe it or not. But it's just like, even like today, like one of my own girls is like, you know, stop eating meat, don't eat flesh or dead flesh, and it's like, well, you know, you gotta have a solution. Like, you can't tell people what to do if you don't have another solution. And that's one thing that I had to, like, I gotta be a little bit more vigilant on as well, because it's like, even for me, like, I've been fed up, I've been tired, I've been sick, I've been just over people, honestly. And one thing that I do want to say is that's just the compassion in me. Like, I want everybody to win. So it goes back into even like I say this all the time. Sometimes I get it when you're trying to tell people stuff or show people the way, and then people don't listen or they don't believe, it gets disheartening. It's like, man, dang, like why do you have to be so stubborn, foolish, crazy? Because I'm trying to help you, but it's like everybody has entitled to their view. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But for me, like I said, I'm not sharing my opinions anymore. It's just observation. And like I say, this world, from my observation, is there's a lot more love than there is hate, but the hate is foreshadowing the love because nobody is spreading it. We rather have these gender wars, race wars, class wars, all these things because it's whether it's more entertaining, whether it's more fun, whether it will create more conversation. But it's like you can spread the joy and give the love. Like for me, I say it all the time. Like I don't have any haters. I don't think I have any haters. If I do, please don't hate me because hate runs deeper. Like we could talk about races, we can talk about bigotry, we can talk about discrimination, but like hate is a different level of energy. Like we like even thinking about slaves and the black people who was being hung, beaten, raped, singled out. We've become so desensitized to how things are. It's like, man, it's like we're not even, like, we be outraging about the wrong things, though. Like, people are, like, kids are still being killed, kidnapped, raped, women still being abused, sex trafficked, raped, even men. And even like, and I'm gonna say it, even the gay community, LGBT, they're still being treated a certain way. Even though it's like, hey, there's still a level of superiority. But I'm just really in that position where I have to stay in my own bubble. I just want to raise my son, make my money, and just stay out the way. Because my son, he's 30 years younger than me, I would just say. He's practically 30 years younger than me. So he's gonna, I hope that he lives longer than I'm here. I hope when my time comes that he'll be here longer than that. Like I mentioned on one of my previous episodes, like one of my closest friends lost his mother and sister 2 days from each other. And it was like, man, that's rough. And it's like, regardless of what was going on, these are the type of things that we have to think about when we're judging people. Like, the truth gets so undermined now because everybody's so strong in their opinion, they disregard the truth, because at the end of the day, the truth isn't factual. Truth is truth, and facts are facts. There's a line. Truth stands the test of time. Facts can change. So when we're talking about, statistics, sports, entertainment, money, race. Like there's truth. Well, no, there's more facts and truth in it. Where in sports and entertainment, you know, we look at the statistics. So there's the factual evidence that this team is better, even though they might be more popular fans, teams, and all that stuff. Like I said, I'm going on tangent. I don't know, but it's just certain stuff. I was actually just saying something where I was talking to my friend this morning, and I was like, man, you know, I was a child in the 90s growing up, and, you know, I was outside playing, and of course, the world has changed drastically since then, but it's like, I see kids outside, but like, I think the 90s children, like, growing up in, like, the childhood of the 90s is unmatched. Because now, you know, we have Roblox and Fortnite and streaming and all that stuff, which is cool because it's like, hey, this keeps people occupied and busy, but it could make people socially awkward as well. But even like being outside back then, I mean, there was still crazy stuff going on back then, but you know, as a child in the 90s, man, like you didn't have to really worry too much about nothing else with that but like the people in the neighborhood, like the children playing with each other. You know, you had more friends in the 90s. You know, there was better television shows, and I could be biased, but it is what it is. But I just think about certain things, and I was like, man, you know, we have come to, and maybe this is something that maybe only adults dealt with before, but like I said, just me being an 80s baby growing up in the 90s, it's like, man, why has society and the world become so social media driven just because the internet is active? Like, this is the digital era, but like, why are we so driven by social media? Like I say this on many episodes, and my thing is just like, I'm really tired. I'm really tired of having to discuss it and explain it. At one point, I was like, man, I'm gonna just stop podcasting altogether. You know, I've been recording. Maybe it wasn't podcasting at the time, but it's like, shoot, for over 10 years. Like I said all the time, like SoundCloud, when SoundCloud was a thing, like I've had conversations with a buddy, like from work. You know, we was talking about things like they were short, but it's like, hey, it's there. And then going from SoundCloud, you know, doing, you know, the takes, like this was in, you know, shoot, like 2017, maybe 18. Then 2 out of 4 title, I was doing that in 19, 18 and stuff. And then even like now, you know, like I've been doing Bland the podcast since 2020. And it doesn't seem that way because, again, I haven't been consistently recording because, like I said, I really want to talk about something. Like I listen to a lot of podcasts. Some of them is entertaining. Some of them are like very educational and influential things. But it's like, man, I'm not just trying to be somebody that's podding. I can pod now. I can talk. Like I can really get into my podding bag and just start saying whatever. But I'm not somebody who just wants to say whatever. Like anything that I say, like I said, I want to be intentional. So sometimes, again, I'm aware of, you know, how well I'm articulate my words. I'm well aware of, sometimes my communication isn't where I would like it to be, but it's all a process. And that was part of the reason why I even started doing this podcast in the first place. And I said that in the beginning of this podcast. I mean, there's going to be changes. Y'all are going to see me grow throughout the years. And, I've gotten better at, production. I've gotten better at, speaking. And even one of these guys that I was in school with, in HVAC school, he talked about how he enjoyed listening to me because I speak. I'm calm and more. I'm engaging. I'm very calm and collected. And, he wasn't the only one that said it. Shout out to Jordan Tyler Jordan. Darius McCurry from, AutoZone. He had expressed it before. And I remember, and like, these are like people that, I've been around, and it's like, okay, they see that when I'm potting, you can understand me a little bit more because I'm in a comfortable space. I'm in a safe space. And shout out to my dear friend Diamond, who had told me that I was a safe space. Shout out to Nova. She got married. I don't remember her new name, but I know it's Harris hyphen something else. I'll look at it later. But shout out to her because these are like people like I embrace. I receive like compliments and love and support. I appreciate those things. And I know it's like, hey, I mean, to me, that's what drives me. Like, I don't, like, hating, like, haters, they can do that over there. They can do that on their own. Like, I have people who might not understand what I'm saying or might not like what I say, might disagree with the things I say, and that's fine. We can agree, disagree. Like, I have that with my family members, like close family members, close friends that I love and care about and respect and, admire and all that stuff. I don't always agree with what they say. So, but that doesn't mean I'm going to disrespect them. That doesn't mean I'm going to, say that they're not worth anything. Everybody deserves to be respected. In my view, I mean, I always say, like, I always give. I lead with love first. Because one thing that I learned in my 38 years of living is no matter what you do, people are going to judge you. You can do everything right, and somebody will probably have a problem with it. If you do everything wrong, you definitely gonna know. Because like I said, people only care more about what you're not doing right. But the thing is, nobody never has a solution. People will tell you to, work out, eat right, live right, do these things. I mean, I do it myself, but it's like, if you don't have a solution for people, you could just be blowing smoke. But, I really just can't, I didn't mean to talk this long, I never do. But, it's just something that was on my heart to share. I'm just, like I said, and I say this to y'all all the time. I do appreciate y'all listening always, bearing with me. But like I said, I do want to be a little bit more consistent. I thought about maybe doing 2 episodes a week from now on. The days, I wouldn't be able to tell you what days. Like, I know I just released an episode the other day. I want to say on the 10th when I released it. But either way, you know, it's there. Check out you know, my last episode, which was you know, is, you know, in suffering comes salvation. That was I released it on Tuesday. I gotta remember, like, because my work schedule kind of got me jacked up, because I'm thinking it's like, man, it's Friday. But yeah, so I thought about maybe releasing 2 episodes a week, maybe. But I still have things, like, I'm still working on my book, you know, Soul Food in the Rib. Hopefully I can drop that but before the year's over with. Like, I'm a little behind. I'm always behind on something. But you know, I'm still trying to, you know, get myself situated as far as, like, with finding, like, a place and stuff. I'm still doing, like, writing other scripts, and, you know, I did release my album Sovereignty's finally out, and Broke Billionaire will be releasing on the 19th. What day is that? Let me see. Because I want to promote myself a little bit better. That's next Friday. So next Friday, Broke Billionaire is going to be dropping. That's a 5-song EP. Just really, it's more just so about giving y'all every part of my experience, you know. So it's going to be, it's inspirational. There's rock there, there's country in there, rap, R&B. Like I said, it's a real short, but it's just something to kind of, like, hold on, because I think after that, I may not be releasing any more projects. So, like, there's a song that I did the other day that I'm contemplating on releasing. But like I said, if y'all want to listen to a record from the album Broke Billionaire, it's called $1 Billion Crash Out. You know, I dropped it on YouTube. It's on Instagram, and, you know, just a couple things, just a few things that I'm doing. Like, I'm working on a lot of things. But, you know, my main thing, yo, is I really just want peace, yo. I really want peace, man. Like, and I know it even talked about in scriptures, like, you know, when the Lord returns, is not to bring peace, but to separate the good from the wicked. And it's like, I understand, but that's what Jesus is going to do. But we got to remember, you know, God gave his only begotten son, Jesus, and he, you know, he's better. He's the betterment of us. So when we deal with life, we need to have peace, because Jesus, like I said, Jesus was the embodiment of Christ walking, of God walking. So it's like, he knows what we go through. He knows our struggles. He knows how hard it is to be kind to people and to just do right when everything's going so wrong. But we have to overcome. We have to be better than our problems. We have to be stronger than our struggles. Defend yourself. Defend your name. But do not hurt nobody. If you do not like me, stay away. If you hate something, you can just not deal, like, you don't have to have. It's like a service. Like, if you go to McDonald's and you hate their nuggets, just don't get it. But it's almost like we always we tolerate so much stuff where if it's not your family, you know, you don't care. Nobody cares until it's until it comes to their door. But here's the thing, what I always say, and I'm gonna be done. Faith goes a long way. But if you only show love, compassion to people who love you and give you that, what does it mean? Nobody asked to be here. A lot of people are trying to leave here, but we got to remember what life really is. Life is a privilege, and it's an opportunity to be better than what you go through. Maybe being the bigger person is overrated. Maybe forgiveness can be overrated. But as far as me and how I'm going to live my life, I'm going to have grace. I'm going to have love. And I'm going to have compassion. I can't help everybody, but if there's one person that I can help, if there's one person that I can look at and say, you know what, I see something greater than what you're dealing with, I'm gonna help you out. And it doesn't always and help doesn't always mean money, but that's for another time. I've talked too long. As always, stay safe, stay prosperous, productive, and positive. This is Blair, and I'll see y'all next time.
Yeah, he loyal, that I done got it up in mud. This for my real